Washington, D.C., on the night of the White House Correspondents' Dinner is designed to be a celebration of the press and the presidency. A calm, highly formal evening where some of the most powerful people in the country gather to break bread. More than 2,000 guests filled the venue that evening. The roster included senior administration officials, cabinet members, top journalists from around the globe, and the president himself. But look closer at exactly who was sitting in that room. You had the President, Vice President J.D. Vance, and House Speaker Mike Johnson. In total, 6 of the top 7 individuals in the presidential line of succession were located within just a few feet of each other. This concentration of national leadership means that a single breach at a social gala could effectively disable the executive branch of the United States government. Protecting a target like that requires a massive tactical footprint. The United States Secret Service is tasked with securing these high-risk events, deploying multiple layers of personnel and intelligence to lock down the perimeter. Yet despite the staggering concentration of power inside, this specific dinner was missing a crucial administrative label. It was never officially designated as a National Special Security Event, or NSSE. Without that designation, the security posture degrades. Instead of strict, multi-layered zones, the protective model relies on a much simpler, condensed perimeter. This created immediate vulnerabilities. Most surprisingly, guests were not required to show identification upon entry. Once inside, the physical barrier remained remarkably thin. Attendees passed through a single security checkpoint equipped with basic metal detectors before heading directly toward the main hall. While the presence of armed agents provided an illusion of total control, those baseline policy choices left a structural gap, carving a subtle, exploitable path directly toward the president. That gap was tested by 31-year-old Cole Thomas Allen. Armed and moving through the venue, he successfully bypassed those compromised outer layers of security without being stopped. He closed the distance quickly, navigating the final proximity zone and making it dangerously close to the crowded ballroom doors where the entire line of succession sat. He was only moments away from walking right into the main hall when security finally intercepted him near the entrance. The confrontation escalated instantly. A brief exchange of gunfire tore through the venue, shattering the quiet formalities of the evening. In a matter of seconds, the reality of the room inverted. A highly orchestrated gathering of America's top leaders was suddenly exposed to chaotic, unchecked violence. The tactical response on the ground was immediate. Officers engaged the armed suspect, neutralized the threat, and successfully took him into custody before he could enter the ballroom. But stopping him came at a severe physical cost. During the firefight, a federal agent working to take down the suspect was struck by gunfire. Fortunately, the agent took the round directly to their heavy tactical SWAT vest. Because of that protective armor, they survived the impact and are expected to make a full recovery. A national tragedy was averted that night. Not because the overarching event security functioned perfectly, but because a single officer physically put their body between the threat and the ballroom. In the immediate aftermath, the public messaging was unified and defensive. President Trump stood by the Secret Service, stating outright that the agents did an excellent job neutralizing the threat. Senior U.S. Senator Chuck Grassley echoed that sentiment after a separate briefing with agency leadership, reporting that the Secret Service had a good plan and that the protective model worked as intended. Behind closed doors, however, the tone was vastly different. White House Chief of Staff Susie Wiles immediately convened high-level, urgent meetings with operational staff to dissect how a gunman got that close. Representatives from the Department of Homeland Security were pulled in to audit the failures and identify immediate improvements for the agency's protective protocols. Press Secretary Carolyn Leavitt eventually acknowledged that changes are coming, but she made it clear that these new security protocols will remain highly classified, so as not to give future attackers a detailed blueprint of the defenses. The gap between public confidence and private desperation suggests the breach was far more significant than any official was willing to admit on camera. And those reforms have to happen fast. According to Secret Service Communications Chief Anthony Guglielmi, the overarching intelligence shows the current threat environment remains highly elevated. The pressure on these agencies is only going to compound. Over the next few years, the calendar is packed with massive, highly public appearances requiring immense security footprints. The United States is preparing to host the FIFA World Cup, which presents a logistical challenge for executive protection across multiple major cities. Following right behind that are the nationwide celebrations marking the 250th anniversary of the United States, another critical stress test for federal law enforcement. President Trump himself reflected on the incident, remarking that he can't imagine a more dangerous profession. A single officer stopped a tragedy this time, but as threats escalate, the system cannot rely on individual heroics. The protective model must evolve before its next test.